What's up, Living North Phoenix? Welcome back to our podcast of Living North Phoenix. So I was in my office. I'm a realtor, as hopefully you know. If you don't, I am a residential realtor here in the Phoenix area, but I was sitting in my office kind of bored and I love to talk, or as my daughter says, yap. So I was like, why don't I do a podcast? So I don't really know how this will go, but and it's going to be totally random. We've done a couple episodes already talking about the history of Living North Phoenix, why I started it, how it formed, the different things that we have. I'm not going to get into the history again. In several of the episodes, I do want to talk about the things that we have briefly and just touch on those. If you didn't hear that episode, please go back to watch either the second or third one, depending on where you're at on the dashboard. I even get confused with it. So it's the second one. One of them has like two different audio files. It's goofy. But anyway, one of the main things that I really hope all of you guys listening to this do immediately, if you have not yet already, and I'll explain why, is to sign up for our newsletter. So it can be accessed by going to our website. A pop-up will occur, and then you can just fill out your information there, and then it gets you subscribed to our free newsletter, which goes out anywhere between 1 and 3 times a week. The reason it's so important is one of my biggest fears is, and hopefully this never happens, is what if something ever happens to the Facebook group? Facebook shuts it down, Facebook closes, whatever. Probably far-fetched, but it could happen. And the best way for us to reconnect would be through having the email address and the newsletter. So whether that means a new group is started or whatever, just having those email addresses and having you in our community is super important. I don't sell your information to anyone. Emails only come from me. There are sponsors that I have or marketing partners that um, I get their information to share with you, but your information is never shared with them. That is something that will never, ever happen. That your contact information is very valuable. I know it. I'm a consumer. I don't want it ever sold. So please, please, please sign up for that newsletter. And in it, like I mentioned in the last episode, there's deals to places that are awesome in our area, like restaurants or whatever it is as we expand, hopefully, staycations, hotels, parks. Parks are free, but gyms, whatever it is, museums, there's just going to be deals across the board. So please sign up for that newsletter. I would give you the link, but it's just easier to go to the website and fill out the pop-up. And then we have the website, like I mentioned, obviously it would be there if you sign up for the newsletter, livingnorthphoenix.com. The Facebook group, if you're not in it, please go join. And then something else that I'm really super proud of is our business directory, which is free. You can enter if you have a business or know of someone that has a business, you can go to the website and fill out your information. Also, livingnorthphoenix.com. There's a tab that I think says business, and then you can click on the one that the drop down that says partner with us. And then there's an option for free or base. And that's where you go to fill out your information that then gets included in the business directory. And why is that important to you? Whether you're a consumer looking for a business or a business looking for free stuff, you can place it anywhere, right? Yes, you can. One of the reasons, so as a consumer, you now have a place where these businesses are listed, which in my opinion are really solid businesses. Are they all vetted? Absolutely not. As I just mentioned, you can go there and fill it out and I add you. There's not me calling these places to see if they're legit or if they are registered with the Better Business Bureau. I'm not going to do that. That's up to you guys to decide. But it still is these businesses that are taking the time to list themselves in this directory. And it's an awesome resource to use as a tool, just like Google, Yelp, Facebook, wherever, Nextdoor, whatever. It's another tool to use. And in my opinion, a very viable and valuable one. On the business side, maybe a little bit more beneficial to you. However, we're currently at time of this recording over 500 businesses located there or listed, which is incredible. And then it's a backlink where you can use it as a backlink to your website. Our website's continuing to get more traction. And as it does so, Google will continue to recognize us as a better website. And in doing that, you now have a domain on our website, which will help boost your website or wherever. So why not? It's free. Are there paid options to increase exposure? Yes. Is that the point of why I'm saying this? No. You get your free listing. You don't have to do anything else. That's it. So I got the newsletter, business directory, and of course I'm proud of everything. But those are just a couple things I wanted to touch on. So for today's episode, so one of the most common questions I've gotten in the past about our group is what is North Phoenix? Like, what are the boundaries? And it's so funny to me why so many people really give a crap like what it means. I can ask a question like, what is 2 plus 2? The answer is 4, uh, as far as I know. Um, but you go to someone else to say like, or ask a question like, what's the best Italian restaurant? I'm gonna have my opinion, you're gonna have your opinion. There is no like factually correct answer to what the best Italian restaurant is. So my boundary definition of North Phoenix doesn't make a difference. Now, you might want to know because you might be curious about, well, if I join this group, am I in the boundary? And I understand that. But here's the other thing. If you live in Chandler and you happen to be driving to Flagstaff for a weekend trip or a holiday trip, and you stop off in Anthem to grab a bite to eat for whatever reason. Uh, and Anthem, by the way, is in my definition of North Phoenix. Should you be forbidden to be in the group? And my answer is no. You're going to be doing business with a business, and you're entitled to be in the group to find out about that. Or if you live in Chicago and you're thinking about moving to North Phoenix or the Phoenix area, and you're looking for real estate information, things to do, best places to go, uh, why not? So, as far as boundaries go, when I set the group up, my definition of it, again, I'm a realtor, so maybe I have a little bit more, and I've lived here 30 years, which doesn't mean anything other than I've lived here 30 years, is uh, my definition was Shea Boulevard on the south to basically, I say this jokingly, but Flagstaff, obviously Flagstaff isn't Phoenix or North Phoenix, but probably Desert Hills. There are posts in the group about Prescott or Prescott. Uh, that's another great post, by the way, on really how to piss people off is say Prescott versus Prescott. It's really hysterical. Because again, there's no like really correct answer. And yes, there isn't a correct answer. If you live in Prescott and say Prescott, good for you. Others can say Prescott and it's still correct. Um, but Desert Hills, Anthem, in that general area, New River, Black Canyon City, New River, is that, I forget now if that's even correct. Is that all in it? The answer is yes. Is it all Phoenix-based city mailing stuff? Who cares? That's what I said. If you have a different idea, good for you. And then West and East Coast boundaries. So East Coast, Fountain Hills, and yes, I realize Fountain Hills isn't a Phoenix mailing address. I don't really care. Either is Glendale or Peoria, which are in the boundaries. And that goes to the west boundary, which is Surprise. So basically covering Shea north and then Peoria or like the White Tanks, I guess. White Tank Mountains on the west to Fountain Hills on the east. That's the boundary. It's a huge boundary. And then maybe the question is why? And the answer is dunno. That's what I did. That's what I wanted. I didn't want just like Shea Boulevard to Desert Ridge and 75th Avenue to whatever. Like, I just wanted all of that. And that's what it is. If you don't like it, sorry, not sorry. Who cares? Too bad. It is funny though. Like I've gotten pushback from people who are like, well, I've redefined what the map is for North Phoenix, which is affecting the state boundaries or the city boundaries. I'm like, okay, uh, whatever. So those are the boundaries in my definition. If you don't like it, I don't know if I really care. I can have my definition, you can have your definition, and both are correct. Um, so some other stuff about North Phoenix, and this is one of the things that I think is truly, truly awesome, is the other episode or the last episode, I think I mentioned we did Senior Smiles. It was an event at a care home. The care home activity leader or the director of fun, Kathy, is in the Facebook group. The gentleman, Graham, who had the phone or has the phone machine, is in the group. The person that co-sponsored the event with me, Aaron, is in the group. All of these things happened because of the group. So the connections that were made and then the stuff that happened was all from the group. And it's just fascinating to me on a daily basis on what happens, who connects, all that stuff. As another amazing example, recently I posted something and then someone it was actually about what should I include in the podcast? Like who should I have on? What should I talk about? And some of the answers were awesome. Well, all the answers were awesome. But one of them was, let's continue talking about community, maybe like bring in a high school football coach. And one of the people who responded was like, "Hey, I know one or two. Let's connect." And we did. We had a phone conversation that day, and it was so cool because then the conversation turned into why she knows those football coaches, what those football coaches do beyond football coaching. And I'm not going to get into it too much because it's going to be on a podcast and I want to save it because I'm in sales and I gotta save it for the good stuff, right? Just kidding. Uh, I don't want to, I can't speak intelligently enough about what they do because it's so incredible and I don't want to ruin it because it's so absolutely amazing and the community needs to hear more about this, which is why we're going to have them on the podcast. So what I will say is if you're listening to this now, please subscribe to this podcast or the podcast and make sure you tune in for when we have those coaches on because, or the coach, because the program they're going to talk about, it's not, and when I say program, I don't mean their high school football program. They have something that's so unique and so awesome that's affecting our community on a positive level and should affect it on a more positive level. And we want to get the word out, and that's what I'm trying to do. So going back to the Facebook group and the power that it has with 33,000 people in it, the newsletter, the website, this podcast, which is brand new, but you guys are awesome, downloading it at record paces. Like it's so cool. Uh, I don't know if it's really record paces, but the amount of downloads that are occurring from what I'm being told for a new podcast are pretty cool. And I thank you for doing that. I thank you for being a part of it. This community is just so cool. If you remember from the first podcast, maybe the second, who cares, is I talked about Valley Palooza and some of the vendors talking about how engaged the audience was, the attendees. That holds true through all of these channels. And it's just so cool to me. And I'm so grateful for it. I, I, I'm not like trying to make it sound, if it comes across this way, this isn't the goal, is like, well, I started the group, so I want the credit. I don't give a crap about the credit. What I love is the community is showing off. in a good way, and people connect and help and support and love each other, and it's just so awesome. As another example, we have our networking group, which I'm also very, very proud of. It's gone through different versions, and today's version is super, super cool. Last year we had a a lady that was a guest at the group. You're a guest, and then you join, you get voted in. It's a paid group. Um, and her name's Megan Lewis. She's with AZ Party Squad. So Megan, hopefully you're listening. If not, you should be. Does an awesome job. Last year at Valley Palooza, she did our balloon setup. So if you are looking for an awesome kids party, um, you have a business, you're looking for a little bit more corporate type feel with balloons and just all that kind of setup and all that stuff. Megan is your gal to do that. So she did it for Valley Palooza. So anyway, she's in our networking group and she's been in it now, I think, close to a year. And recently, she invited someone that she knew of or knows, whatever. I don't really know the connection, and I don't know if I need to. But she invited Dr. Brianna Burke to our networking meeting. So Dr. Burke is opening Dr. Burke Family Dentistry off Tatum and Bell. And this is this is so awesome to me. So she invites Dr. Burke to the networking meeting. After the meeting, Dr. Burke and I speak. She's a dentist, by the way. And Burke Family Dentistry, duh. Just wanted to clarify that. So she's at the meeting. Meeting ends. We talk for a little bit. And I was like, tell me a little bit more about what you do, what you have. She tells me, I'm like, this is so cool. And I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to upsell you. If you decide to join the networking group, awesome. I think it'll be beneficial to you. Super cool. But by the way, we also have these other things that we do for businesses. The marketing sponsorships. I'm not going to get into the details on this podcast. That's not the point. And then we've got Valley Palooza, blah, 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 blah. She's like, I'm interested in hearing more about all of it. So we set up a time to meet. We met at Press Coffee. My daughter was with me. We talked about stuff. She said she's in, and she started doing stuff. And I had honestly dreamed about, or dreamt, whatever, about having a dentist in our, I'm just going to say circle, because it's a standalone brick and mortar place, family dentist, so cool to me, one that's about the community, which is what we're about. And I was so grateful that Megan introduced her to the group. Dr. Burke joined the group, or got voted in after wanting to join, and then started to step up to do the partnership program. And she's now a sponsor of Valley Palooza as well. Dr. Burke is. And I can say at time of this recording, I don't know the exact numbers. So Dr. Burke, if you're listening, if not, you should be, even though you're extremely busy. And get this, at some point, a week prior to recording of this video, I spoke with Dr. Burke about how the sponsorships or marketing partnerships are working out. And I'm not trying to use a play on words. It's advertising, but we become partners. I want to help that business grow, and they want to help the community. It's a partnership. It's not me just taking their money to advertise it. Nothing wrong with Google advertising. They take your money, and if you get something out of it, awesome. I don't know if it's really a partnership. Nothing against Google. I love Google. Google, if you're listening, you're awesome. Keep sharing this. It will help. But Dr. Burke was telling me that at that time, directly from the marketing partnership, and she hadn't even opened her office yet. It's open now. I'm going next week, super excited, or week after, whatever. Um, and she had gotten around like 12 new clients because of it. So people from the group, the newsletter, had reached out because of the things that we were doing and she was doing. And now she has a completely full schedule as far as I know. And if I don't, I'm making it up, but it sounds really good and it felt true. So I'm going to say it. And I'm so like just at a loss for words at how awesome that is. The community coming together, Megan inviting her, her joining, her stepping up, us working together, and all of this because of the community. Just like the post for the podcast, the high school football teacher coming on to talk about his program. This is what it's all about. That's why we do what we do. It is beyond amazing. I'm grateful to be a part of it. So whether you live a little bit south of Shea, a little bit north of Desert Hills, west of 75th Avenue, or east of Tatum Boulevard, you're welcome to our group. We love to have you in it. If you're a business owner, join that business directory. Please join our newsletter. Be a part of our frickin' community because it's so incredible. I thank you so much, you guys, for listening to this. I've enjoyed yapping. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my yapping. And please, please, please be a part of our community on every possible level that you can. This isn't about me collecting dollars to just make money. The money that's accumulated funnels the machine and it grows more and more and it benefits everyone that's a part of it. So please join it. I'm going to give myself a plug because I probably don't give myself a plug enough. I am a residential realtor in the Phoenix area, which, yes, I know I mentioned earlier. So if you live in Phoenix and thinking about buying a home, I can help you. I can have that discussion with you. If you own a home in the Phoenix area, I can help you with that if you're thinking about selling. I have options if you are thinking about selling but don't know what to do about changing your carpet out or painting or whatever. Don't always think that you have to do those things to sell. Don't think that you have to just sell to an investor and take a lowball offer. There's plenty of options across the board. I'm all about data and options. This podcast isn't about me as a realtor, but I do want to let you know that I am a realtor here in North Phoenix. I work valley-wide also, and I'm here to help you. I have had the pleasure of helping others in the Facebook group and the North Phoenix community. It's been a blessing. I'm grateful for it. I hope to help more people. That's all I got to say. So thanks for listening to me yap. We will see you on the next podcast. You will hear me on the next podcast. And please, if you're listening to this, which obviously you are, and if you're not, you should be, send in your ideas, send me notes, send me texts. Notes. Who sends notes? But send me text, emails, blair@livingnorthphoenix.com. Visit the website, join the newsletter, join the group, send me a direct message. Do whatever there is you have to do to stay in touch and be a part of the community. And being a part of the community could be just liking a comment in the group, could be liking a post, could be sending me a message, could be joining the business directory. Whatever it is, do it. Just be a part of the community. Thanks for listening. We will see you on the next one. Take care.